I'm getting more questions at this point in the evolution of my channel on how to sing higher or lower notes. I can't give very specific personalized advice on this, and I think in a way it is medical advice, so I have to be careful with that. But one thing I think I could tell about how I made high note breakthroughs and how these eventually led to the expansion of my voice has to do with, I think, changing the way I thought. I can't exactly prove this because it's a correlation. It's something that happened at the same time. It's not necessarily a cause and effect. But I started changing the things I wrote about and the things I thought about in my own head and the things I imagined. I thought if I can't change anything else in the world, at least I can change what I imagine. And I wrote stories about the changes of individuals and allegories for changes of systems from destructive to creative. I wrote about, instead of people dying, I read about a character who was once an assassin and then changed to being someone who imparts life to other people, who rejuvenates other people and spreads life to them. So if I saw something I thought was oppressive or that would depress me, I would just write the opposite. I would write about people becoming younger and becoming more productive and spreading the capacity to create to other people. And recently I've heard people saying, when I sing, that they can actually hear this in my voice when I sing songs, that they say that there's soul or there's promise in my voice, and they can actually hear this. So that might have had an effect in expanding my range, because I was thinking about people who become eternally young, and then for them life is a continuous expansion. They have all sorts of possibilities opening up, and that might have been reflected in my voice. Another thing I did at the time when my voice range started really expanding was I had to leave my old creative social network, because when I started writing this way, I thought, all this other stuff is sick. All our myths and stuff we built our society on are destructive and don't make any sense, and they're killing everyone. So I couldn't fit in with my old group anymore, and I went out and started meeting lots of new people. I thought, maybe nobody thinks the way I do or will accept me, but I can at least meet people for the first time, and people are always nice to you when they meet you for the first time. So I made a point of meeting as many unfamiliar people as I could. One of the ways I met people was not only through social expansion, social exploration, but through physical. I went hiking, and several of my first high note breakthroughs came after I had gone hiking. So there seems to be an element of physical exercise involved, that if you free yourself up physically, get your system pumped up, then you can hit a slightly higher note than otherwise. There are also times when there was moral expansion or exploration in my life, where I would feel pressure to do something I didn't think was right, and I would refuse to do it. And then the day after, or the same day, I would hit a note I'd never sung before. So there are these three main areas: social, physical, and moral expansion in my life that I've observed on a short-term basis, at least, allow me to sing a slightly higher note or to make a vocal breakthrough and sing a note in some sort of register that I have never sung before. This doesn't seem to apply to the latest technique I've put up, as far as I know. That is the hissing or the whistle tone technique, the one where I just it's mostly just background noise, and there's a tiny bit of tone in it, and that's how I've hit my highest notes recently. But that one does not seem to be dependent upon fitness or exercise or strengthening myself or standing up for my personal liberties. And that seems very significant to me, because that is the one way vocal teachers and the other people will tell you to hit your high notes. They say, don't try the other way, just use this way. Take this shortcut, go into head voice when you could do it in chest voice, or go into whistle tone when you could do it in head voice. And that seems to me to undercut the process of improving my voice, at least. And so the thing is not to give up, not always to take the easy way to improving your voice. At least that's how it's been for me. Of course, there are risks sometimes in trying these sorts of techniques, and those are things you have to evaluate yourself, depending on your age, your fitness, and how much you think is safe, how capable you are of evaluating any changes. Those are all things you have to do yourself. But the recommendations, I think, for improving one's life in general, living a happier and more just life, can be applied to anyone. And those things can come out in your voice when you sing.